Hola amigos y amigas, hello everyone, this is Camila and welcome to Argentina and Beyond, where we will explore some experiences about Argentina that we hope you will find interesting. Today, we're going to talk about studying Spanish in Buenos Aires. Over the last 15 years, visiting the city while learning the language has grown in popularity, and lots of people want to engage with the culture, mix with the locals, and have an authentic porteño experience. Here with me, I have Callum from Manchester. He works in the book publishing industry and is a student of Spanish in London. He did this experience a couple of years ago. Hello, Callum.
Hello, it's an absolute pleasure to be with you, and thank you for inviting me.
No, thank you for joining us. So, how did you come up with the idea of traveling to Argentina, and why did you choose this country?
So, I travelled to Argentina in my second year of university. It would have been just after my exams finished in the summer of 2014. And I think it happened because of the convergence of two ideas, really. I wanted to learn Spanish after I'd completed a course at UCL where I was studying at the time. And my friend George is from Argentina and invited myself and our friend Felix to stay with him in his family home. So the three of us went together, and I think my knowledge of the country was virtually non-existent before I went. I knew it was a footballing country, I knew it was a big country, but that was about the extent of it, and it just seemed like a really exotic place to go. Not a lot of people that I know had been there, and with the whole summer ahead of us, I just thought, why not?
Great. And how was this experience different from any other trips that you did?
I think the first thing to say was that the place we were staying was just insanely different to anywhere I'd stayed before. It was the family home of George, or Jorge as he's known on the continent. And his family were in the final stages of moving to England, so they went there and the place was cleared out, and it was luxurious. It was this huge penthouse with dozens of rooms and absolutely no furniture, except for a grand piano and 3 mattresses where we'd be staying in the living room. And I'm just a normal lad from Manchester, so it was very different to anything that I'd seen before. And I think the other thing was the partying. I'd always assumed that English people were kind of at the forefront of the late nights, the drinking and all the rest of it, but Argentina certainly gave us a run for our money. There was barely a night while I was there where we weren't meeting some of George's friends or having fun at the apartment or out in one of the clubs. And I think that's the main thing, actually, is that the people I met there were just so friendly and so welcoming. It was the time of the World Cup when we were there, so we were invited into so many people's homes to watch the games, to have asados, and I met like dozens of people's families, like the grandparents and parents, these people I didn't even know. So yeah, it was just a whole different world.
Yeah, well, that sounds very Argentinian, really.
Yeah, exactly.
And what did you like the most about Buenos Aires, apart from the people, I assume?
Well, I mean, the people were the main thing. That's the main reason I'm learning Spanish again, actually, is I just sort of yearn to be part of that culture and to interact with other Argentinians and Spanish speakers, and, in their own language, in their world, and not mine. But I think in terms of the places, my favourite place that I saw was probably El Ateneo. I work in book publishing, so it was amazing to see such a perfect bookshop. I can say without a shadow of a doubt it was the most beautiful bookshop that I've ever seen. And believe me, I've seen a lot of them all over the world. And I think the other place I really liked seeing was La Recoleta Cemetery, which was really beautiful, really one of a kind, and it was a special privilege to see that.
And for the people out there wanting to do a similar experience, what was a normal day like on a trip like this?
Well, each day was supposed to look like this. It was supposed to be wake up, go to Spanish school, eat some nice meals, maybe do a bit of sightseeing, go to sleep. But in reality, it was more like, go to Spanish school if we weren't too hungover. And we worked a lot while we were there. Eat empanadas whenever we could, We watched a lot of World Cup games. We went out to a lot of bars. We met a lot of people. We definitely did a lot more partying and a lot less Spanish practice than was intended. But then again, this was 7 years ago, so I was only 20 or 21 at the time. And I think now that I'm older, it would be the other way around. I think I'd do a lot of Spanish practice, a lot of sightseeing, a whole lot less partying. I'll go back and do it the other way.
Well, you can definitely go back after
after everything.
Yeah. Well, so apart from a little Spanish, what can you say you learned from this experience?
Well, I think on a factual level, I learned a lot about the history and culture. Before I went, I thought Che Guevara was Cuban, for God's sake. I learned about Che, I learned about the economy, the politicians, the ups and downs, the decades that all the people over there have been through. I came to see the Argentinian perspective over Las Malvinas, which I agree with, by the way. And then, I think on a deeper level, just sort of learnt that there's a whole world of people out there. And I think it's easy to get caught up with what's going on in your own country and forget that there's people just like you all over the world, similar worries, hopes, dreams, and so on. I hate to bring COVID up, but I think that's sort of shown, that we have more in common than we do differences. And, I guess it's those differences that are beautiful and those nuances that have driven my interest in learning Spanish. I want to know more about them. It's an adventure to do so.
So, finally, would you recommend it to other people?
Yes. I could not recommend it enough. And my advice would be to try the empanadas, see a little bit more of the country than I managed to on that particular trip, and take it a little easier on the party.
Well, thank you very, very much for talking to us.
It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me.
I hope you have enjoyed this episode and that you will be traveling to Argentina very soon. You will visit a gorgeous city, eat amazingly well, and why not be able to order your wine in Spanish. Thank you for listening. Hasta pronto.